So, families. When I was diagnosed, I actually found out I had breast cancer on my 35th birthday. I was breastfeeding my daughter, yes, kind of freaky at 18 months of age. However, she was my baby. I knew she was going to be my last child. I had a son, Nicholas, another son, Alex, and then Madeline, my baby. And I had lumps in my breast that was minimized because of my age, because of how many children I had had. And my doctor had been my OBGYN ever since I was 18. And here I am, 34 years old, just had a baby, going to my follow-up appointment. He said, Kristen, it's nothing. Okay, he said, but because it's you, we'll get it checked out. God had a different story. He kept on throwing extra tumors to make me pay attention. So when I was diagnosed, I was really sick. I fought cancer for 2 years. I had a very atypical journey, which ironically I feel was all part of God's plan in a weird way. My feelings about life and the next day were very similar to Rebecca's, as many of you, I'm sure, could also relate to her story. But one thing that really is a challenge, and today remains a challenge, my children. What about them? What about your family, your spouse, your mother, your friends? What about them? You're fighting so hard to make it through, to live another day, and to beat cancer. Who's taking care of them? We still deal with this today. When I was diagnosed, there wasn't a partnership. There wasn't anything in the community where they partnered with young families and provided counseling and support for the children. I work at UAB, and even internally, I couldn't get a child life specialist to help talk to my kids. We just decided to celebrate. We celebrated everything. We still celebrate everything. On the way here, I have to admit, my daughter had candy for breakfast. And you know what? It upset my mother, but for me, it's okay. We celebrate life. We celebrate when the sun comes up to when I usually just fall asleep. But they went through my fight too. Her mother that she knew, the things, some kids play with their mother's hair to go to sleep. My daughter did that. I was nursing her. Bedtime was her on my chest with her hands in my hair. And then all of a sudden I had none. All of a sudden the breasts she knew that gave her comfort became, as weird as this may sound, the JP drains that I had postoperatively. But who's helping her, and what do you say to your children? Honesty. I have to say her world was a little bit rocked, and yes, for a long time she referred to her own breasts as boo-boos. I had 4 surgeries on my breasts for various, like I said, it was atypical journey. I was life flighted in one part for a rupture from Montgomery to Birmingham. And it was a traumatic injury as it was seen. And my surgeon came in from home, and my whole family thought I was going to die. I thought I was going to die. So it wasn't cancer that was going to kill me and take me from my children's world. It was going to be this postoperative complication. Who warned you about that? Who warns your spouse that they might get a call when they're at a race with the boys, with your father and your brother? You've got to get to Birmingham. Your mother is bleeding out. And you put that person into a helicopter as a mother, my mom. Difficulty breathing, we're going to get her to UAB. We're going to get her there. But I'm sorry, no one can be with her. What does it feel like for her for that hour-and-a-half drive alone? What about the families? We make memories, just like we have the memories of cancer and chemo and radiation and surgery and life flights and helicopters. We have fun. Life is too short. And when you face cancer as a family, as an individual, as a friend, you embrace each day as a gift from God, passion, with how you're going to make a difference. I do struggle with that sense of making a difference every day, to be remembered, to help someone else in some way, whatever that looks like. But for me, much like Beverly inspired me, and it was about her children and her grandchildren, it's about my kids. It's about my family. It's about my friends. I don't want the memories of cancer to oversee who I am and what I have to offer as being a family member and a loved one for each of them. We love, and I love big. And that sounds kind of weird, but if you know me, every day I feel very strongly that the interactions we have with each other, as I look across this room and I see all of you, and I don't know half of you, but if I look at you with a smile and I'm eager to know who you are, I'm going to leave an impression. So even if I die tomorrow from something crazy event that I'm not prepared for, you will remember me. Love and that example that I'm able to give to others on a daily basis, interacting with those, is important for my children. I see lots of caregivers in this room, and each person that I interacted with and saw me fight cancer were a part of also getting my family through it. My oldest, Nicholas, is now 5'7", 150 pounds, and plays basketball at 13 years of age. But the reality for them, I was telling someone earlier, he said to me just the other day, because we were trying to figure out, he's had some behavioral problems and some issues and struggles in school, and we've paid tons of money for specialists and different people trying to figure out what's going on, because I want my Nicholas BC, not AC, what's happened. And come to find out, I broke down one night. He broke down and he said, "Mom, I had to let you die to get through it." And still, when I say that, it brings back a lot, because that's how he coped with it. And even though we had a village taking care of us what they thought was right, we have work to do to take care of these families in our community and in our country, because that's our future. And we now are rebuilding our relationship, but it took 4 years from my diagnosis to get there. And to begin that rebuild, because he had to realize that his mom wasn't going away. And if she did, it wasn't going to be because of cancer. My Alex, he is scared of death. His comments now are much out of fear. I have to admit, I have this, from childbirth, I have a nice vein that's right here, a little one, beauty, let me tell you. But I don't want to have surgery or anything yet. But he saw that the other day when I put on some shorts, because my legs were a little white. And he said, "Oh my gosh, what is wrong with your leg?" And I'm like, "I don't know." He's, Are you bleeding? He's got this fear and anxiety about me and my well-being that I can't control. I'm sure many of you who have children have seen that. My family, my parents want me back in their house to raise me and feed me and take care of all of us, because I fought cancer. I shouldn't have to go through any more hardships or make any hard decisions. Cancer is what I faced, but that's their reality. Who's helping them? My Madeline, who likes to be shirtless sometimes around the house, I will admit, said, "Mom, when I grow up, are my boobs going to look like yours?" And I have to say no as a mother. They're not. I have scars. I don't look normal. So who is going to be that volunteer? Please don't all run at once down to the children's area. But who do I select to show her what she's supposed to look like when she starts developing as a young preteen? Those are things I have to think about. Things that some of you might have thought about or are starting to realize, oh, wow, it'll be here before you know it, when those innocent children of yours in your life ask you a question. Who tells us what to say? We have work to do in the community. My friends, Valerie and Terry, we celebrated everything. I worked. Looking back, I wish I would have taken advantage of what I call the C card to say I had cancer, to enjoy. But I was bound and determined to keep my normal. When you're fighting cancer and you're trying to work and you're trying to raise a family and keep your normal, your BC life, you're allowing family to dress up and go visit your kids at school. So it takes a village, but who tells them that's what she needs? They're just trying to keep the before cancer normalcy. My normal BC with my spouse is totally different now. And who was there to tell him and help him deal with what he was facing and dealing with along the battle of cancer? Because everyone was carrying me through it. What about the loved ones, the people that love you? We have work to do as young survivors to make it known that it's not just about the disease. It's about everyone that's touched by the disease. It's our future. It's our children. It's our spouses. It's our boyfriends, our friends. It's the people that we come across and pass at the grocery store with no hair. Every little bit of that is impacted by a young breast cancer survivor when they're diagnosed. But who takes care of the family? And what do they need? I'm still trying to figure it out. I try every day. I'm sure many of you are as well. But if you know the answers, you should be up here speaking rather than me. I believe in prayer. Prayer gets us through a lot. But my church became a huge support for my family and for my kids. But all they knew to do as well was just to keep our normal before cancer. And so now, even more than ever, I'm faced with trying to figure it out without enough resources, how to communicate and how to support the fears, the anxieties, the over-control that each person that I love is dealing with as they look at me after cancer. As breast cancer survivors, you look at the scars on your body, or you look at how you look a little different when you wake up in the morning or when you go to bed or when you change clothes. But on the outside, you would never know I had cancer. Remember the people that were with you along your journey, because they also see those scars every day. Their scars are just different. Their memories, their fears. They're the reflective moments they had when they were trying to pull it together to be strong for you so that you could fight the disease. And all I ask is that you hug a kid, you tell your friends and family thank you, and maybe one day we'll figure out how to support the masses who are dealt with young women being faced with cancer. And we'll be able together to come up with resources for children, for parents, for mothers who are diagnosed and fighting the disease with something so that they can help their children. I thank you for your time, and just know, embrace each day. It really is a gift for each one in this room and all that we touch.